Water. It blankets our planet, the cradle of existence. From microorganisms to whales, all life depends on it. It courses through rivers and slumbers in deep oceans. We seek it on distant planets as a signature of potential life. This simple molecule holds the power of creation. In our lives it is a constant companion. We turn the tap and it flows, a daily miracle. In the determined stride of a marathon runner, in the disciplined routines of military training, even in modern entertainment, water takes center stage. In fitness studios, water bottles are diligently emptied. Athletes push limits, believing in water's power. Individuals fill jugs, seeking purity and health. They choose water, the essence of life. A substance synonymous with vitality and renewal, yet abundance can transform into peril. They were not drinking potent spirits, it was merely water, ingested with good intentions. But for some, it became their undoing. Even the purest elements, in the wrong measure, can turn against us. The digital age has birthed its own peculiar rituals, its fleeting faiths broadcast across glowing screens. Here trends ignite with viral speed, promising transformation with a simple click and follow. Among these, the detox holds a potent allure, a quest for purification in a toxic world. Water, in its pristine simplicity, becomes the chosen elixir, a liquid path to a cleaner self. Our protagonist, a woman of 35 years, was drawn into a TikTok challenge, promising rejuvenation through water. The instructions were straightforward: 5 liters in 2 hours. It sounds almost Spartan, a feat of liquid endurance. For her it appeared as a harmless, virtuous undertaking, a quick path to flushing out impurities, endorsed by the internet's hive mind. The screen, with its endless scroll of confident influencers, can be a powerful persuader. In this theater of aspirational living, the line between genuine well-being and performative health often blurs. She embarked on this liquid journey, trusting the digital chorus that sang water's praises. The gallons were measured, the timer set, a domestic scene soon to be upended by the very element linked with life and health. Little did she understand the delicate equilibrium her body maintains, the intricate dance of electrolytes and fluids. This ancient wisdom is often drowned out by contemporary trends. The challenge, presented as a shortcut to wellness, failed to whisper the crucial caveats. She drank, unaware that each gulp was pushing her closer to a physiological precipice. As the vast quantity of water coursed through her system, far exceeding what her kidneys could process and expel, a subtle, insidious shift began. The body's cells, normally bathed in a perfectly balanced saline environment, found themselves awash in an increasingly diluted fluid. To maintain equilibrium, they began to absorb the excess water, swelling like tiny balloons. This process, known as hyponatremia, is particularly perilous when it affects the cells of the brain, constrained as they are by the unyielding confines of the skull. The very organ orchestrating her actions was now under silent siege. The first signs of distress may have been subtle, a headache perhaps, or a growing sense of nausea, easily dismissed as part of the detoxification process. But soon, the cellular swelling would have escalated, leading to more alarming symptoms: confusion, disorientation, a faltering of motor skills. At her home, far from the digital sphere that spawned the challenge, the real-world consequences began to manifest with terrifying speed. She collapsed, her body succumbing to the profound internal imbalance, a victim of an invisible drowning, not in a lake or ocean but within her own tissues. Miraculously, she survived this ordeal, pulled back from the brink by medical intervention. Yet, the experience exacted a heavy toll. The brain, starved of its normal environment and subjected to immense pressure, suffered damage. The intricate tapestry of her memories, the very fabric of her personal history, was partially unraveled. She emerged from the crisis with significant memory loss, a permanent shadow cast by those 2 short hours of misguided detoxification. A stark reminder that the brain, though resilient, is also exquisitely vulnerable to such profound physiological insults. In the aftermath, the TikTok challenge, its dangerous potential now glaringly apparent, was removed from the platform. A digital ghost, exercised too late for this one individual. It's a common pattern in the reactive ecosystem of online trends. The harm often precedes the caution. Her story stands as a chilling testament to the potent, sometimes perilous intersection of ancient physiology and modern misinformation, where the quest for purity can lead, with terrifying irony, to a profound and lasting contamination of life itself.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle.
The Boston Marathon. It is more than a race. It is a pilgrimage for athletes. A grueling 26.2-mile testament to the limits of human endurance, spirit, and relentless preparation. Thousands flock to its storied course each year, their bodies honed by months, even years of dedicated training, their minds steeled for the immense physical and mental challenge that lies ahead. In this arena of supreme effort, hydration is preached as gospel. Water stations line the route, manned by volunteers offering cups of vital fluid, a crucial component in the athlete's arsenal against fatigue in the unforgiving New England weather. Among the determined faces on that fateful day was Cynthia Lucero, a vibrant 28-year-old. She was not a novice to the demands of endurance. She was a seasoned runner, imbued with the spirit of perseverance that defines such athletes. Like her fellow competitors, she understood the importance of staying hydrated, of replenishing the fluids lost through sweat and exertion under the often unpredictable marathon conditions. Her goal was clear: to cross that coveted finish line, to achieve what she had trained so diligently for, to conquer the distance with strength and resolve. As she pounded the historic pavement, Cynthia diligently consumed water, perhaps believing, as many do, that more is unequivocally better when pushing the body to its extremes. The prevailing wisdom, often simplified to drink before you're thirsty, can, in certain circumstances, become a misleading mantra. She drank copiously, her actions driven by the desire to maintain peak performance, to ward off the debilitating effects of dehydration, to ensure she could indeed finish strong. Each cup of water was, in her mind, a step towards success, a fortification against failure. The human body, however, is a finely calibrated instrument, and its internal environment operates within surprisingly narrow parameters. While dehydration is a well-recognized foe of the endurance athlete, its opposite, overhydration, presents a more insidious, less understood threat. The intense physical stress of a marathon can also impair the body's ability to excrete excess water efficiently, particularly if salt levels are not simultaneously replenished. Cynthia, in her earnest attempt to do everything right, was unknowingly navigating a treacherous path, where the very strategy intended for strength was subtly paving the way for a catastrophic internal failure. The tragedy that befell Cynthia Lucero was not one of muscular failure or cardiovascular collapse in the typical sense. Instead, it was a silent, internal crisis known as hyponatremia-induced cerebral edema. As she consumed large volumes of water without adequately replacing the sodium lost through sweat, the concentration of salt in her bloodstream plummeted. This dilution created an osmotic imbalance, causing water to move from her blood into her brain cells in an attempt to restore equilibrium. The brain, encased within the rigid confines of the skull, began to swell. This swelling, imperceptible from the outside, exerts devastating pressure on vital brain structures. Mid-run, the consequences of this internal deluge began to manifest. Perhaps she felt a growing confusion, a loss of coordination, or an unbearable headache, the brain's desperate signals of distress. Then she collapsed. Not from exhaustion in the way one might typically imagine, but from a profound neurological crisis. The very organ that had driven her ambition and discipline was now succumbing to an excess of the element she believed was sustaining her. Despite swift medical attention, the damage was too severe. Cynthia Lucero died, not from a lack of water but from too much. The official cause, cerebral edema, a direct result of drinking excessive amounts of fluid during the race. The irony is almost unbearable, a cruel twist of fate. As so poignantly stated, she hydrated to finish strong. She didn't finish at all. Her pursuit of peak performance, guided by a common understanding of hydration, led her to an outcome no one could have foreseen, a stark illustration of how even well-intentioned actions can have fatal consequences. Her death sent shockwaves through the running community and prompted a re-evaluation of hydration guidelines for endurance athletes. It highlighted the critical, often overlooked importance of electrolyte balance and the dangers of overconsumption of plain water during prolonged, intense exercise. Cynthia's story serves as a somber reminder that in the complex biological machine that is the human body, balance is paramount, and even something as fundamental and life-giving as water must be respected for its potent power, a power that, when misjudged, can indeed turn deadly. Radio contests. The siren call of something for nothing, the mundane backdrop of daily life suddenly punctuated by the possibility of a windfall. Here, the currency is not skill, but a peculiar form of endurance. The airwaves crackle with anticipation, broadcast to thousands. A modern spectacle where stakes can escalate into genuine peril. The prize, a coveted piece of technology, the Nintendo Wii, a console promising interactive entertainment and familial enjoyment. For many it represented a significant purchase, a luxury just out of reach. The prospect of acquiring such an artifact simply by outlasting others. A curious juxtaposition, this digital delight against the analog challenge. Enter Jennifer Strange, a mother of three driven by the desire to win this console. An ordinary individual drawn into an extraordinary competition hosted by KDND-FM. The task appeared deceptively simple. Consume water. An element fundamental to life, now weaponized in a bizarre contest. One can almost picture her initially with a spirit of light-hearted participation. The rules were stark, encapsulated in the slogan, "Hold your Wii for a Wii," a catchy jingle for an ordeal of escalating discomfort. Participants were plied with water every 15 minutes, the pressure mounting. The human bladder, designed for gradual filling, was pushed to its limits. A public display of private endurance, all for the amusement of listeners. Jennifer Strange's tragic death from water intoxication during a radio contest shocked the community. The excessive water intake diluted her body's essential salts, leading to acute hyponatremia. Her brain cells swelled, causing severe distress and ultimately, her death. The radio station faced a lawsuit resulting in a $16.5 million award to her family. This tragedy underscores the importance of caution and responsibility in entertainment. We venture now into a realm where the human body is pushed to its absolute zenith, the unforgiving theater of military training. Here, under the searing gaze of an unblinking sun, amidst the relentless demands of extreme physical exertion, soldiers are forged and tested. The environment itself often becomes an adversary. The oppressive, suffocating heat, the arid, unforgiving landscapes, the constant, unyielding call for peak physical and mental performance. It is a crucible, meticulously designed to test resilience, to strip away perceived weakness, and to build a fighting force capable of enduring the harshest conditions imaginable on any battlefield. Every sinew, every nerve, every ounce of will is summoned to meet these extraordinary demands. In such an arena, the mantra of hydration becomes almost a sacred text, a commandment etched into the consciousness of every trainee. The fear of dehydration, a genuine and potent threat in these extreme circumstances, can often lead to an overzealous, almost frantic consumption of water. The prevailing wisdom, particularly in past decades, emphasized sheer quantity, sometimes at the expense of a more nuanced and complete understanding of the body's intricate biochemistry and its delicate fluid balance. Drink more water was the simple, oft-repeated command, a directive followed with the discipline and obedience ingrained in every recruit, every seasoned soldier. But even the best intentions, when misapplied, can pave a perilous and unexpected path. Consider then, these young individuals, whose names may be consigned to military records but whose sacrifice serves as a stark and enduring lesson for institutions worldwide. They were the epitome of dedication, embodying commitment, striving to master their craft, to push their physical boundaries in service of their nation and their comrades. Following orders, striving to meet and indeed exceed the rigorous standards set before them, they embraced the challenge of hydration with the same fervor and diligence they applied to every other aspect of their demanding training. Unaware, tragically, that this very act of perceived diligence, this earnest attempt to safeguard their well-being, was leading them towards an insidious internal enemy. The specific conditions that led to tragedy were a perfect storm, arduous training exercises, often involving heavy gear, conducted under a relentless, punishing sun, in ambient temperatures that sap strength and drain vital fluids at an alarming rate. The instruction to hydrate was constant, and dutifully they drank and drank again. But the critical error lay not merely in the drinking itself, but in the sheer volume consumed too rapidly and crucially, without the concurrent and essential replenishment of electrolytes. Those vital minerals like sodium, potassium, and chloride, lost through prodigious, unavoidable sweating. The body, desperately trying to cool itself, was simultaneously being flooded internally, creating a dangerous imbalance. As these soldiers ingested vast quantities of plain water, a dangerous dilution began its silent, treacherous work within their bloodstream. Sodium, potassium, chloride, essential electrolytes were leached from their systems, their concentrations falling to perilous levels. This condition, hyponatremia, is a stealthy assassin. The body's cells, particularly brain neurons, begin to absorb the excess water, swelling like overfilled balloons. It is a silent, internal drowning. Tragically, the early symptoms are often misinterpreted. Weakness, nausea, dizziness, and confusion could be mistaken for exertion or dehydration. The outcome for some soldiers was heartbreakingly final. Severe cerebral edema led to catastrophic neurological failure and death. Their deaths sent a necessary shockwave through military medical and training commands. The U.S. military undertook a critical review of its hydration protocols, emphasizing electrolyte replacement. A hard-won lesson, paid for with young lives, serving as a constant reminder that physiological balance is paramount. We shift our gaze to the hallowed halls of academia, specifically within the veiled world of college fraternities and sororities. Here, young individuals seek camaraderie, identity, and lifelong bonds, often referred to as brotherhood or sisterhood. Yet darker traditions can lurk, like the perilous practice of hazing. Hazing involves humiliating and sometimes brutal trials to test new members. A profound power imbalance exists, with established members dictating tasks. The desire to belong can override common sense and self-preservation. In 2005 at California State University, Chico, a fraternity's hazing ritual involved forced water consumption. Matthew Carrington, seeking acceptance, was forced to drink gallons of water. This act, framed as a test, became an instrument of his demise. Matthew Carrington's body couldn't handle the relentless water intake during a hazing ritual. His kidneys were overwhelmed, leading to severe hyponatremia. The lack of sodium caused his brain to swell. He collapsed and died the next day. The fraternity ignored his distress. This was a tragic, preventable death. Matt's law was passed to prevent such tragedies. True bonds are built on respect, not abuse. In the illuminated metropolis, the gymnasium thrives, a theater of human endeavor driven by primal instincts to sculpt physical forms. The spin class, a ritual of rhythmic cycling, holds a particular allure. Participants pedal with focused intensity, each revolution a step towards health. Amongst them, a single female, her determination a palpable force. Her pursuit is of peak physical fitness. The prevailing wisdom dictates that hydration is paramount. She diligently consumes water, believing it ensures optimal performance. 4 liters of water pass her lips, challenging her body's balance. The initial harbingers of trouble are subtle, easily mistaken for exercise effects. A creeping sensation of dizziness, a slight blurring of vision. These are the first alarm bells from within. The intricate symphony of electrolytes begins to falter. Diluted by the sheer volume of incoming fluid, a silent internal flooding. The balance perfected over eons of evolutionary refinement. The world around her momentarily losing its sharp focus. These are not the triumphant signals of a body well exercised. The charged sodium and potassium particles that orchestrate cell function. The transition from vigor to crisis is abrupt. One moment she is energetic, the next she collapses. Her body succumbs to an overwhelming internal siege. The gymnasium transforms into a scene of urgent medical intervention, a dramatic downturn caused by an excess of presumed good. She descends into unconsciousness. She enters a comatose state for 2 days. For 48 hours, her life hangs in the balance. A different kind of endurance test begins. Medical practitioners battle to restore her electrolytic balance. Their efforts begin to yield results. She is guided back from the precipice. Consciousness begins to break through the darkness. She is revived, a testament to medical science and human resilience. Yet, this return comes at a considerable cost. Her recent experiences have been erased. Her short-term memory is a casualty of the ordeal. The events leading to her collapse are now absent. She awakens to a fractured present, marked by an overconsumption of water, a lesson in the perils of immoderation. In the complex ecosystem of the human mind, psychogenic polydipsia takes root, a thirst not born of arid plains but from the psyche itself, an unquenchable urge to drink beyond any physiological need. The body is driven by a neurological command, overriding natural balance. This internal tormentor whispers of a dryness water cannot satisfy, a slow, insidious drowning from within. This compulsion manifests with ritualistic intensity, thoughts consumed by the next gulp, the next fleeting relief. Hydration becomes a life-altering obsession, not driven by dehydration but by an unseen force. Anxiety or OCD dictates their every move, turning water into a potential instrument of undoing. Imagine the internal landscape of such an individual, a psychological itch that only drinking seems to scratch. The relief is ephemeral, the compulsion undiminished, a silent battle within their own consciousness. The awareness of danger is present, yet the drive is powerful, a current too strong to resist without support. This is not thirst, it is a phantom with real consequences. Life becomes a precarious balancing act, requiring vigilant monitoring. Water intake must be meticulously managed. Water, a source of comfort, becomes a constant temptation, a readily available means to inadvertently harm oneself. The relentless influx of water dilutes vital electrolytes, particularly sodium. Cell membranes struggle against osmotic pressure. Water seeps into cells, causing them to swell. Nowhere is this more dangerous than within the skull. The brain finds itself under intolerable pressure. The very substance synonymous with life becomes a threat. The thirst is a symptom of deeper disquiet. Treating this condition presents a formidable challenge. It requires addressing the underlying psychiatric disorder. Cognitive therapies and medications are essential. The mind's influence over the body is profound. Psychological distress can manifest in physical ways. The thirst is a profound existential ache. Water becomes an unwitting accomplice in this drama. The most perilous currents are within the mind. The mind's extraordinary power is a sobering illustration. Psychological distress co-opts the body's fundamental drives. Sometimes the most perilous currents are within the mind. In the complex theater of human health, advice from medical professionals carries immense weight. Patients, especially the elderly, trust this guidance deeply. Consider the simple advice: drink more water. For a 70-year-old woman, this advice became a mission, but without context, it led to tragedy. She consumed 6 liters in 4 hours, overwhelming her system. Her body couldn't cope, leading to a fatal outcome. This tragedy underscores the need for precise medical advice. The physiological sequence that unfolded within this unsuspecting woman's body was a stark illustration of hyponatremia's lethal potential. As the 6 liters of water surged through her system, her bloodstream became dangerously diluted. Sodium levels plummeted, triggering a critical shift in osmotic pressure. Excess water forced into the brain cells led to herniation. Her conscientiousness and trust in the system led to a devastating outcome. This case serves as a chilling reminder that more is not always better. Clear, quantified instructions are paramount. Her story is a somber testament to the need for nuanced guidance. They drank water, this most elemental fluid, with intentions as clear and pure as the liquid itself. Some sought renewed health, a flushing away of toxins, a path to vitality promised by fleeting internet trends or earnest, if incomplete, advice. Others pursued peak physical energy, pushing their bodies to the limits in athletic endeavors, believing more water meant more strength, more endurance. They reached for it in moments of intense training, in the throes of competition, or in the quiet adherence to a regimen they believed would fortify them against the trials of life. And yet for each of them, this quest, this reliance on water, took a tragically unexpected turn. The irony is as profound as it is heartbreaking. Water, the very medium in which life on this planet first arose, the substance that constitutes the majority of our being, became the agent of their untimely end. It was not the act of drinking in itself that proved fatal. For millennia, creatures great and small have sought and consumed water without such dire consequence. No, their demise stemmed from a crucial misunderstanding, a lack of knowledge regarding the delicate balance their bodies strive to maintain. They didn't perish because they drank, but because they didn't comprehend to drink, how to respect the intricate dance of hydration and electrolyte equilibrium. Indeed, water sustains life, a truth so fundamental it is often taken for granted. It courses through our veins, nourishes our cells, and enables the myriad chemical reactions that define existence. Yet, like life itself, it possesses a duality. It can be a gentle rain, nurturing growth, or a raging torrent, capable of immense destruction. The stories we have witnessed serve as stark reminders that this life-giving elixir, when consumed in excessive quantities too rapidly, without regard for the body's capacity to process it, can overwhelm our internal systems, silencing the very life it is meant to support. Too much, too fast, a potent recipe for disaster. Therefore, let this be the enduring wisdom gleaned from these sobering accounts. Our bodies are marvels of biological engineering, but they are not limitless reservoirs, not porous ground designed for ceaseless absorption. We are not sponges, mindlessly soaking up whatever liquid is presented. We must approach hydration with awareness, with an understanding of our individual needs, and with a profound respect for the potent power held within every single drop. For in the delicate balance of life, even the purest intentions, when misapplied, can lead to the most tragic of consequences. Don't just drink, drink wisely.